Hello everyone, it's Maria here from Pepperly Rose Paper Crafting. I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator. Welcome and thank you all so much for coming past today. I'm going to be showing you a project that is inspired by one of my Stampin' Up friends. Her name is Renee. She's part of Renee, it's called Renee Paper Crafting, or Renee, yeah, is it Renee Paper Crafting or Renegade? No, it's Renegade Crafting, sorry. Renegade Crafting, and I will put the name up on the screen when I edit this video. And she's based on Facebook, so if you'd like to check out her work, please do so. Her work is amazing, plus she's also an amazing and a very inspiring person to me. Despite any setbacks she's had in life, she never gives up and she's always positive. And for me, that is a very rare thing these days. So I admire her greatly. And so it's her anniversary coming up, her wedding anniversary. It's her 5th wedding anniversary. And she wanted some ideas on using wood as being part of the 5 years anniversary. So that got me thinking, and I'm going to make a card for her to wish her a happy anniversary, help her to inspire her somewhat, and I'll be sending that card off to her this week. So the stamp sets I'll be using today are the Swirly Frames. This is a brand new stamp set that will be coming out on the 1st of June. This is a fantastic, it's a photopolymer set. I really love it. You can create backgrounds with this as well as to frame your images and your sentiments. So this is a really fantastic all-rounder set, and it has some great lines as well which you can build up and go right across your card and so forth. So please do consider this one. This is a fantastic set. I'm using the Sunshine and Rainbows. I'm really sad to see this go. This will be available up until the 31st of May. So if you're interested in getting this stamp set, now's the time to get it. I'll be using the sun because I'm going to be building up a scene with this card. I know it's a lot of stamp sets, but this will come in, I'm telling you now, this will all come together very nicely. I'll be using the bow image from the Cookie Cutter Christmas, as well as the matching punch. These, you can buy them in our annual catalogue at the moment, and they'll also be carrying over to our new catalogue. So I'll be using that little bow image from that. And I'm also using the Foxy Friends stamp set. This is adorable. So I'll be using a couple of images from here. So I'll be using the smaller tree, this gorgeous little speech bubble with the hearts. I really love that. And I'll be using one of the fox's faces, the eyes and the nose. So that's what you'll be seeing. And the Labeler alphabet stamp set. This is great. I love the Labeler look, and I will show you what I will do with that. I have been doing some stamping prior to shooting this video only because I just want to get a sentiment all stamped out, and it'll be too boring for you to watch on camera. So we'll get started with our project. So I've already stamped on a piece of Whisper White cardstock. I've stamped most of them, but I'm going to show you the last bit. The Labeler Happy Anniversary. So I'm going to stamp the Y with some Memento ink. And what I'm going to do with this is I am going to cut it out, and it'll be part of my sentiment. So I'll just clean that stamp up and put it away. So that's that for that one. And I'm going to grab my scissors and I'll give it a cut. And I don't mind that it's not 100% even, because that's the idea with labelers. They're not always 100% lined up. So I'll just even this up. And please excuse the noise. I don't know what's happening now that I'm starting to film. It starts to get noisy. So I've just stamped out the word happy. Cut that out, sorry. And I'll cut this one up too. And I don't mind that it's not 100% even, because sometimes with the labelers, they don't always come out 100% even. So I like that it's got a little bit of a quirkiness to it. So I'll just cut that up freehand in a straight line. So that's the happy anniversary. So this will be stuck down to the card a little later. Okay, so I'll bring that up closer for you to have a look at. And there we go. And that's why I love sometimes these alphabet stamps, because they are suitable for any occasion. So we'll be using some, not Whisper White. We will be using some Whisper White cardstock, but I'm using crumb cake card base, and I've already cut the A4 sheet down in half, and then I scored it in half again, so it becomes an A6 size card. This is a standard card base in Australia. And I've got some Wood Textures Designer Series paper. This is currently available in our annual catalogue, and it'll also be carrying over to our new catalogue. So this is where the wood part comes in. Now with this DSP, you have a slightly lighter side and a darker side. I'm going to use the lighter side. I'll have that up like this, and I'm just going to pop that just there. So we'll grab what's left of my fast fuse, and I don't think I've got long to go either. So that's the last of my fast fuse. So I'm just going to pop this down. And I'm going to put it just to lay out. Try not to stick it down in advance. One thing about fast fuse, it's not very forgiving if you make a mistake, so it'll rip your project to shreds, so be careful with it. But it is a great strong adhesive. So that's that there, so I'll leave that to one side. I'm going to bring my Stamparatus, and the reason why I like using it is when I'm unsure of something, I like to use it so that I can make sure that my image comes out. Now I'm using some watercolor paper here, so I'll use this side here. And I'm going to use the largest frame. So I'll just grab that. So just grab that. Just be careful when you're taking this off the backing sheet, because it is delicate in that you can easily rip it if you're not careful. So I'm just going to let it relax on the paper. Try and make it as straight as possible. And because it's watercolor paper and it's a bit textured, I want to make sure that my image comes out pretty perfect. So that's why I use the Stamparatus for these kinds of things. So now I've finished cutting the frame, and I did smudge it a little bit with my hands, but do give it a few minutes for it to dry off. I think that's really a good idea. So I'm just going to wipe off my fingers with my chamois and just get rid of the excess ink. Okay, so I'll let that off to dry for just a couple of minutes. So in the meantime, I'm going to do some punch art. I'm going to use the Fox Builder punch. This is an adorable, adorable punch. So we're going to cut out 2 foxes. So these are my two foxes. Aren't they adorable? Love it. All right, so now I'm going to bring back my frame here that I cut out before with the Swirly Frames stamp set. And I'm going to use not a blender pen, an aqua pen. And I'm going to use some Pull Party. I've got some already pulled right on the end there, on the lid. And I'm just going to watercolor the background somewhat, very lightly. Just want it to have a nice little watercolor look to the background. So I'm building a scene, okay? So I'm just doing a random little splash of colour right in the background. Okay, so now I've finished watercolouring my background. I just make sure I don't oversaturate my brush. Okay, so now that's done. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to get my heat tool and I'm just going to dry that, and then I'll be back in a second. But that's just a slight watercolour wash there. Okay, I'll be back in a second. Okay, I've just finished now drying my watercolour paper because it was wet. And now I'm going to bring back my Stamparatus and I'm going to just stamp a couple of images on here. We have a beautifully stamped and masked edge. Isn't that great? I love this. So I'll put our magnet away, close our ink pad. So what I do is, where you have the sticker there that shows you the colour, to not get a lot of ink on your fingers, just push on the opposite end, then you pull it and close, and that way you don't have a lot of ink on your hands. So I'm going to clean that off. And I'm going to keep the Stamparatus out, because what I'm going to do now is I'm going to position my foxes on here. So I'm just building up a scene here. Oh yeah, I forgot to stamp the little legs, so I'll be doing that in a minute. But I want to put up the speech bubble that comes with this stamp set, and it's just this one over here. And because it's an anniversary and they're still in love, I'm going to put on that speech bubble with the hearts. And I'm going to make that go just above here. Just there, just for positioning. Alright. I'm going to make sure that that's stamped on perfectly. So I'll take away the foxes. I've got it where I want it. Just make sure it's positioned properly. Okay, and now I'm going to grab my lovely lipstick. So because it's a colour that stains my photopolymer, I'm just going to use my Versamark, and I'm going to add now the lovely lipstick. What I love about these new ink pads is there's no bubbling, and also it's really good with the photopolymers. They are fantastic and crisp images. And that turned out really cute. Look at that. Isn't that cute? I love this. Alrighty, so we're finished now with the inking and the stamping. So it's all done now. Just clean my stamp off. Okay, I'll pop that away now. All right, so that's all finished. So I'll pop my Stamparatus away. And now I'll bring back my card base here for a second. I'll leave it there, and I'll bring back my frame here. And I'm going to stick my little foxes there. And oh yeah, before I do that, I better stamp their little feet. So I'll just grab my stamp set. It's got these little feet. Okay, that's all done now. So my little foxes now look much better, don't they? Heaps better. Alrighty, so I'm just going to now grab my framed image, and I'm going to pop my foxes on here. I'll just pop this just here in the corner. Then I'm going to add my happy with some glue. I'm going to put it at, yeah, like so. Make it straight this time. And the anniversary down here. And I think that that is a super adorable card. And I hope you do too. So here's my finished card. On the inside, what I'm going to do is I'm going to stamp one of those foxes later, and I'll put that up on my blog. I don't want to take too much more of your time. But you know what? I will do it actually on camera, so just bear with me for 1 second. Okay, so I've come back now, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to get this little speech bubble stamp. Eraser, so it does rub off any ink. Now I would like to thank Jen Lynham, who is one of my viewers, and this beautiful woman sent me this from the UK, amongst other things. On my next video I'm going to show what my crafty friends have given to me over the time. They're just beautiful people, the crafting world. So I'm just going to use this eraser just to erase out as much as possible the ink smudge. And I wouldn't go crazy with it and over erasing in one area, because you can also it also wears out the paper as well, so just be very careful. So this just gets rid of as much of it as possible. So there's an ever so slight amount of ink, but I'm not going to worry about it. So that's that from the inside. And I'm going to pop this now onto my card. And I've got to work against the clock here because I've got my battery flashing. So I'll do this as quickly as possible. And we are now done. So there's the finished card. I hope you enjoyed it.